I'm sure for some it's definitely a wake-up call.
A wake-up call, and now the aftermath of massive winds. What you need to know about power outages, school closures, safety, and more.
And we're getting a mix of some rain and snow right now, though we do have another bout of some stronger winds on the way tonight.
And pieces of history uprooted and toppled. How the wind has brought down trees planted by presidents. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti, and as all of you know, we are still dealing with the aftermath of historic windstorms all across the inland Northwest. Thousands of people across the region still at this noon hour without power. Take a look. This is the Avista outage map, and they are reporting more than 21,000 customers still without power. Then inland power outage customers without power. And then we're going to take a look, hopefully here, at Kootenai Electric. This morning, they were reporting more than 2,000 customers still impacted. And then we're going to take a look at Northern Lights. They are reporting more than 3,000 without power as of right now. And some school district canceling school again today. St. Mary's Joint School District canceled classes because of power outages and road conditions. And then the White Pine Joint School District in Beauville and Deary will be closed. Kellogg School District in Idaho closed as well. And we told you about one death from the windstorm yesterday, where a tree fell on a Kootenai County home and killed a 55-year-old man while he was sleeping. We are still hearing now from his neighbors.
It's just devastating because we pass by here every day. The displays they put out here, it's a joy to us to come by, and every time we go to the store, we always swing by here before we go home. The people are super nice. It's just a shame.
And neighbors in the area say it is common for trees to fall, especially in that area during severe windstorms. There have been some close calls, they say, over the years, but this is the first death that they can remember.
I'm sure for some it's definitely a wake-up call.
So as crews work to get streets cleaned up, and there's so many crews out there doing so much work right now, neighbors are having to help pick up trees and branches on their properties. We talked to the owner of Blake's Tree Service. He told our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press that his crews, of course, are being flooded with calls. By the way, the owner had a long work day yesterday as trees came down. And then he says the long day came as his wife was celebrating not only her birthday, but she also went into labor. So a lot going on for him. If you have trees that survived this storm, but you're not sure if they'll make it through another, it is worth calling a tree service. Arborists say many of them give free quotes, but for right now, we have the latest look at road conditions here in Spokane with Brandon T. Jones.
Well, yeah, there's still a little bit of a cleanup process that has to take place, but certainly looks much better than what it did yesterday. And you can just still see some of that damage here, and also see some of the crews. Got to give a big shout out to the city crews and all of the power crews as well, who have been working in the aftermath of this windstorm. But they have now been able to remove the trees that were blocking the road here on Bernard, so have been able to kind of get that chopped up. A majority of the trees that have come down chopped up. You can still see there is a tree in someone's fence, but there's some cones around that as well. So again, there's a little bit of a cleanup process that still has to take place, but traffic, at least on Bernard, is flowing in a normal capacity once again. And then also yesterday I drove by and the power was still out on a couple of those intersections, Bernard and 29th. The power was out. It was kind of like a four-way stop sign as opposed to a regular normal driving type of situation. So the power is back on there as well. And we did check with Avista as well. So there was only about 5 homes still here in this area without power. They do anticipate that to be up and running by 10 p.m. We do have some sound from one of the neighbors here, though, that kind of just was assessing everything that was taking place yesterday. They said, of course, this is not unfamiliar. We know this area has been hit hard several times in the past because of windstorms, but take a listen to what he had to say.
They're pretty fast. I'd say be gone in 2 days maybe, or even less than that, depending on how many trees fell in the area. But and I don't know, but they're pretty quick.
So yeah, from this vantage point, it does seem like that assessment was correct. A lot of quick work being made with those downed trees. And of course, it's no easy job. You can just see the size, the magnitude of these trees, how large they are. But again, Bernard officially back to a normal traffic operation, things moving in a nice, smooth pace today. For now, reporting here in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
All right, we just have a little bit more to show you right now. We're looking at some of the damage in Whitman County. This is video from Pullman reporting at least 6 large trees fell, blocking some roadways there, and a couple of traffic signals were taken down, as well as some power lines. And then just down the road in Moscow, the high winds destroyed some Idaho history. The University of Idaho lost several iconic trees that were on campus. The school says in all 15 trees came down, and they'll have to take a few more down as well. 2 of those trees that came down were planted by former U.S. presidents, and one of the trees that got damaged was the first one planted in the Presidential Grove. President Teddy Roosevelt planted it back in 1911. University President Scott Green says it is a huge historic loss for the community and the state. Some of those trees have been there for over a century. All right, 12:06 right now. Let's take a pause on what happened yesterday and talk about what happened, of course, and what's happening today. You're out there with umbrella, so I can make some educated guesses to the fact that it's raining.
Yeah, and I'll say it this way, Laura. It's like 95% raining, 5% snowing. I see the occasional snowflake just cross my eye line, but I need the umbrella, otherwise I'm going to get wet standing out here. And yeah, from our perspective and in the Weather Center, we are always looking ahead at our next weather systems because, let's face it, this week has not really let up. Now, I know that yesterday's windstorm is going to be historic and still dealing with the aftermath of that, but we got rain and snow right now for the inland Northwest. We're actually alerting for both that and then another batch of winds tonight, but not nearly as bad as it was yesterday. I got to make that clear. It's not anywhere close to what we experienced yesterday. Okay, so Doppler radar showing actually quite a lot of blue, which would be a lot of snow. And as I mentioned, it is definitely a rain-snow mix. I think at lower elevations, it's almost 100% rain. We're in the South Hill. Doppler radar estimates that it's snow, and yes, I can see some snowflakes, but it's way more rainy than anything else. So I'm gonna largely assume that anywhere south of Highway 2 is mostly rain. To the north, it could be a different story, though. But I'll tell you what, I haven't seen a single snowflake stick to the ground. We're not going to get any snow accumulation. So while we might see snowflakes with our temperatures above freezing, no chance for it to stick. 0 inches of total snow accumulations. Now tonight, it's going to get windy again, as mentioned. So I'll have the latest on our forecasted wind speeds and where we go from here. Your full forecast in a few minutes.